Hi, welcome. So we will be beginning in probably a minute or two, so don't fret. You can join calmly. In the meantime, I have prepared a bit of a question to you because it is an AI webinar, right? So my question to you is, and you can answer in the chat and we can kind of go through it. Not once the people are joining. So speed or quality, what is the most painful trade-off your team faces right now? Because I feel like these two things, it seems like at first they cannot exist together, right? The speed or the quality. It seems like you're losing one or another. But today we'll be showing that they can coexist happily and peacefully. So Dominic, do you feel like speed or quality is your the thing you are able to sacrifice?
Yeah, I think the speed. I value more quality the most. Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
That's a good
Like
answer.
that's a wise answer, right?
Oh,
Okay, and you, Giovanna, are you a speedy person or
No,
more like?
no. Quality above everything. Performance and scalability, that kind of stuff. Like the quality in the product, the quality of delivery, the quality of execution, the quality of releasing to production. All of that matters way more because you are risking a lot more things by releasing things too quickly. We can compromise on the speed. And I mean, how do you run a marathon? Do you run a marathon and um like yeah, if you run a marathon in, like, let's say an hour, you're definitely going to have problems with legs.
Mhm.
But if you take your time as you're running the 42 kilometers, you might end up, finishing healthy. And I
Yes,
say this because I've seen a lot of people like crossing through the finish line completely dying. So what a good
exactly.
what a good comparison.
Well, the aim, of course, is not to die and just like keep going. So I absolutely agree that baby steps is the way to go, and just keep moving forward, keep pushing. Yeah, so today we'll be showing you how to run this marathon with and cross the finish line successfully without losing your breath, basically. Please keep joining. Welcome to everyone. Hello, everyone. You can say hi in the comments. And I think, let's not delay anymore, right? Let's get into it. I feel like people are, of course, waiting. So okay, let's go. So once again, welcome to our webinar, AI-powered software development in Jira with Rovo. I know it is a mouthful. So before we begin, let me introduce you to our speakers. If you're wondering who has been chatting you up, so this is the time to introduce our co-host and host. So on the board today, we have Giovanna. She's representing Atlassian. Also, we have Dominic from Appsvio, and my name is Ola, and I'm also from the Appsvio team. Shortly about Appsvio. So we are a trusted gold marketplace partner, and basically we're dedicated to creating powerful and intuitive apps for Jira and Jira Service Management. And if you would like to meet Appsvio numbers, so we have 9 top-rated apps in the Atlassian marketplace, also over 6,000 active installations globally. And I think the thing that we are the most proud of, the global trust, so we are entrusted by teams all over the world. On the side note, before we move into the webinar itself, if you have any questions in the end, we will have the Q&A session, so don't be afraid to keep asking them in the comments. None of the questions will be forgotten or left unanswered. We'll try to do our best in this section as well. So without further ado, let's get right to the point. So the reason that you're here is that you need a way to move faster while simultaneously boosting your quality. I think this is the goal of everyone, because it's a fundamental demand in modern software development. So our core promise today is to show you exactly how to achieve the faster development and the better quality control, and how to do it in the AI that's integrated in the Atlassian ecosystem. So first of all, we all know the reality. So a huge amount of time is spent on administrative tasks, work that simply doesn't deliver customer value. And this is the silent bottleneck that drains every team's energy. And we have actually identified this friction that it's hitting the most valuable people across the critical stages of the software development lifecycle. So we have the product teams, development teams, and in the end, the testing teams, the guardians of our quality, right, that we are talking about, that we do not want to sacrifice. So before we dive into the solution, let's look at the bottleneck specifically for each team, and let's dive a little bit deeper into the problems. First of all, product owners, you're our first team to go, the product teams. So you guys should be focused on the big picture, ideally, right? So talking to customers, defining the strategy, defining the roadmap of the product. But what happens in reality? Well, you guys are basically pulled into all of the administrative tasks, and you spend, according to statistics, 73% of your time in a week on administrative tasks in Jira. So what is happening here is that because you're spending over 50% of this time just writing, updating tickets, you're losing the focus time. This time is stolen from the high impact strategic work that you could have been doing. At the same time, your team also kind of suffers because we have the team delays. What do we mean by that? Is that we have a user story that isn't perfectly clear, and that also affects the developers who have to stop their work. They ask questions. You guys are doing this back and forth, and we have this friction even at the first stage of the cycle. And the final kind of a reality point of the current product owner job is the missed risks, because when you break things down manually, it's very easy to overlook the critical tasks such as security checks or data rules. And all of these small gaps, they accumulate, they can turn into expensive late-stage bugs. So the path forward here is clear, because we need to use some kind of intelligence to make the crucial planning step fast, thorough, and robust. So fast, but without losing the quality, just like we've mentioned. And what about the developers? Well, you guys, if you ask any engineer what slows them down, they will rarely say it's coding itself. And data actually shows that from 20 to 40, even to 40% of developers' time is spent on the actual coding. If you're wondering where did the rest go, the 80 or the 60%, well, it's spent on meetings, administrative tasks, and the context switching. So the reality is the context switching that we have just mentioned, because the data is just spread around. You guys are bouncing between tools. We have Jira, Confluence, Slack, the constant pings, the emails, and this tool hopping it gets exhausting. On the other hand, we also have the code review treadmill, because reviews are very necessary. I think we can all agree with that. However, waiting for them can be agonizing, because the senior engineers, they are wasting their valuable hours checking the style and minor security points instead of giving crucial architectural feedback. And finally, we also have two vague user stories. This is the point that we have mentioned for the product owners, because they are swamped with their work. Also, the user stories may turn out to be too vague. And later on, the developers have to get back to the topic. Again, the communication they communicate back and forth, and it just becomes this friction point once again in this cycle. And what about the testers? Well, their challenge currently is to keep the quality tight while the development is accelerating, because we are living in a very fast-paced world. So the process of designing test cases, the blueprint of the quality here can be actually the critical bottleneck, because data shows that 50% of testers' time is spent on writing test cases that are either frequently neglected or quickly outdated. So in reality, the test case design is very timely, and it kind of follows onto the increased risk of missed defects. Because imagine if the timelines are tight, test coverage is usually the first thing to suffer. So because our brains can go into the same path, so we may be relying too heavily on the happy path, and that drastically increases the risk of critical defects slipping through the cracks of our software testing process. And on the final note, we also have the maintenance burden, because every requirement is changing at some point, and it also we need to be manually updating the test cases, so the test cases have to be maintained, and overall this low value work steals time from the actual high value testing. Like you could be focusing on test execution and, generally speaking, improving the process. So as we have just identified the bottlenecks, the question is, what's the common denominator? Because it definitely isn't the lack of effort, because you see every team is trying their best. However, the problem here is the lack of automation. Especially the lack of automation for the repetitive, administrative, and context-gathering tasks. And when the lack of automation is the problem, well, the answer in all of its shapes of forms, especially in the Atlassian ecosystem, will be Rovo. So whether you're using Rovo Search, Rovo Chat, Agents, or Studio, in all of these scenarios, the Rovo becomes the universal intelligent co-pilot for your entire team. And the question is, how is Rovo able to achieve this level of intelligence, kind of, how Rovo is able to know everything? Well, Rovo's power is based on the teamwork graph. So I like to think of the teamwork graph as this living, breathing map that securely connects people from every team, every document, and work across the entire enterprise, and allows us to share this knowledge easily. And because Rovo connectors are fed by this map constantly, Rovo is able to pull up data from different Atlassian products, as you can see here. So we have JSM, we have Confluence, we have Bitbucket, JPD, and basically Rovo pulls up all of this data, and that's how it's able to have this comprehensive 360-degree understanding of your organization's knowledge. So now that we know that Rovo is context-aware and universally accessible, I think we all actually heard that slogan since Team 25. So Rovo is everywhere, is for everyone, and knows everything. Let's move to practice. So the question is, we wanted to show you exactly how Rovo eliminates the bottlenecks we just mentioned across the SDLC cycle. So the question we asked ourselves, how do we apply this intelligence, this Rovo knowledge and capabilities to fix the bottlenecks we just mentioned? And that's in order to demonstrate the capabilities of Rovo, we are going to walk you through a development of a new feature for an existing application, the Feature Bundle app. Feature Bundle is an extension for our customer portal. And today we are going to be actually adding a new feature to it. So the goal of today is to successfully plan, develop, and test a new feature with Rovo in different shapes of forms. So before we dive into the demos itself, let me introduce you to the use case. So the feature we are going to be developing is called Ticket Journey. And with this feature, the aim is for customers to be able to track the request stages directly on the portal view. And the stages will be based on the native Jira workflow. Also, additionally, we want admins to be able to manage the configuration in Jira project settings or Jira safe space settings if you're already using the new nomenclature. Okay, so without further delay, I think we can jump into the phase one. So breaking down a user story with Rovo. And that I'm going to show you this here. So let's start. As you can see, here we have our project with multiple different tickets, but we are going to be focusing on the ticket journey. This is our epic, our requirement. Let me just open it up. And as you see, we have already provided the very thorough description. We have summary, description, configuration, customer experience, and acceptance criteria. It's all divided into bullet points. The idea is that we feed Rovo as much context as possible in order for Rovo to be able to do as much as the best job possible. And you can actually create the user story with Rovo as well. That's what we've done, but today we will be also only showing you how to divide it into child work items. So we're going to go to improve work item and suggest child work items, and that automatically opens up a new window right below, and Rovo just suggests all of the Jira work items that it thinks will be suitable. You can always adjust it and keep conversing with it, but I am very happy with the result, so I'm going to accept the changes that it will make. And all of the 7 child items will be automatically added to the epic itself and linked. Let's go into one of them. As you can see, it also provides the short description based on the epic. We have provided it, but let's improve the description. So I'm going to go to improve the description. And as you can see, it already based on the epic we have provided it. It shows us a very thorough description as well. So that's a very good information for our developers, right? And basically in less than 2 minutes, we were able to create 7 child items divided into actionable tasks, developer tasks that are ready to go further to our development process. So I think, Jovana, it's going to be your time to show how Rovo Dev is dealing with everything.
Awesome, Ola. Okay, everyone, let's quickly switch a little bit of gear. Software development is, at its core, a team effort. Now, our vision for every software development team is to have a teammate that deeply understands their team's organizational unique context that is captured in the Atlassian ecosystem, meaning from Jira issues and Confluence pages to every facet of your code base and its dependencies, no matter where your code lives. That teammate should also be aware of your engineering history, including past incidents and their resolutions. And when it comes to delivering tasks, this history and context matter the most because tasks are usually an additions to larger existing systems and code bases. Now, imagine if that teammate can assist you wherever you are working, and that teammate can be Rovo Dev. Tailored for developers, it can accelerate the entire software development lifecycle, handling code planning, code generation, code reviews, and automation of repetitive tasks, all at scale. Rovo Dev is also powered by Atlassian's Teamwork Graph. Thus, it has context from all your Atlassian ecosystem, so it can pull your organizational context and business knowledge wherever you are working. Now, across the software development lifecycle, we know that developers spend little of their time coding, which makes most of their time going towards all the other tasks they don't enjoy as much as coding. Now, that's really where Rovo Dev can step in for you and where it stands out. You can run several tickets in the backlog with Rovo Dev, cleaning up those vulnerabilities or accessibility issues. You can enforce your code standards and principles with Code Reviewer, and then automate that across multiple code bases within your workspaces. And we're adding more features that address other pain points within the software development lifecycle, so please stay tuned. But let's have a look at Rovo Dev in action as we interact with it through the CLI to help us with the next phase of this feature development. Now, as a developer, I'm going to go back to the feature, description, going back to my board. I need to find my feature, the one that I'm working on. So I need to find the right ticket. Great. I've located that. I'm walking in. Now, I might have already started working on this development in my time, as obviously is part of the things that I'm supposed to do. But I might have gotten overwhelmed because look at all these child issues that I'm meant to deliver, all of the things that I'm meant to implement. Now, I might have gotten lost a little bit around all the acceptance criteria that I'm meant to complete. So let's just go and ask Rovo Dev to help me out. I'm going to authenticate with Rovo Dev within the CLI. And pay attention to what I'm typing right now. I'm asking Rovo Dev to implement this ticket for me, which is an epic, but I'm giving it extra context and asking it, please go through all the child issues within this ticket and implement all of that as well. Now, Rovo Dev obviously goes and fetches all those tickets. It'll even tell me as we go through and you look at the response that it's accessing all of those child issues as it's reaching for each one of them at a time. So it says, I can see there are 7 child issues. Great, it's correct. But it also needs to get all that description from each of those separate child issues independently. The beauty of Rovo Dev is that, well, it's got all the Atlassian context. It has access to your code base. It has access to your history. It has access to your coding principles. But it'll go in detail and look through descriptions and potential links that you have added to your issues, and go through those links independently to make sure that it's got all the context that you've given it in order to give the best result. Which means you can add screenshots to your Jira issues, you can add links, you can even add PDF documents. And more importantly, as long as you feed all of that within your description or any other space within the Jira issue, even if it's labeled, even if it's acceptance criteria, Rovo Dev will analyze that all in very detailed form to make sure to deliver the best outcome for your implementation. Now, as Rovo Dev is searching for all that information that it needs to do its best work, you might have seen that at some point it even said to me, oh, I see that there are some components already in place. That's because I've done some development on it. And it's that intelligent, obviously, to detect that there are some things that are listed in the ticket that you have already done. But don't worry, I'm going to continue building on top of that. So you don't really have to tell it, oh, ignore this, avoid that, because it's intelligent enough to detect exactly what is in place and what is still missing. Now, as obviously it's generating its response, you can see all the files that it's potentially creating, potentially modifying, the way that it's thinking. It's continuously giving you feedback of what it's doing, how it's doing it, and just kind of giving you at all times information of where it's at. Now, if you do obviously want to stop this, you can always Control C, as it says at the bottom, but you can always just wait for it to finish, look at the changes, and then talk to Rovo Dev additionally and say, actually, can you implement certain extra features or make more changes here and there? And similarly, tell it to do more things than what it's already created. Now, it's almost done with my implementation. And in the ticket, it's obviously, there's description available to push it immediately. So what's happening right now is I'm getting a full descriptive report of each of these issue childs because they all had acceptance criteria. So it's giving me a full-blown report of everything that it's implemented per issue. Now let's go have a look at what this looks like in practice as Rovo Dev is finished with its implementation. Now, to obviously locate where my changes are, I'm gonna navigate to the right spot. Okay, we're looking at all the open queues, and I want to see what that actually looks like in the background. I'm gonna zoom in on the project settings to find it in the apps and look at the ticket journey. And what we've actually told it to implement is exactly this: different statuses and different order processes. So we can see what that looks like here. We're also going to see what that looks like when it's applied to a ticket. Now, each of them have different statuses, and all those statuses are going to be mapped with different, I guess, extended statuses in the JSM. Now, if we go back to our tickets and we zoom in on one particular one, for example, broken OAuth, not a great thing to have in your system. Let's have a look at what that actually looks like in the portal and how these statuses actually transition from one to another. Now, obviously, your team might be more comprehensive and you might want to have these requests handled a bit differently. What we see now with my ticket is that it's waiting for my input, or rather the customer's input. And if we go back to the ticket, we can see that the status is matching with the one we're mapping it with, which is pending. So I've actually finished implementing my app and I've extended it to where I wanted it to go. What are we doing next now?
Yeah, so now we've arrived at the phase 3 of our AI-powered lifecycle. So it's designing test cases. So this is where the world in quality assurance begins. And for this, we'll be using two key components. Our AI assistant, Rovo Agent, working seamlessly inside our app, Appsvio Test Management. So to solve this, we will be focusing on specific feature within Appsvio Test Management, which we call Test Case Architect. We were able to implement this feature easily thanks to Forge, which lets it feel completely native to our Jira environment. So Test Case Architect has a few key features. First, it drives test case generation based on the requirement. Second, it generates actionable test steps with precision. It doesn't just give you a title for a test. It gives you a full, professional, step-by-step table with action, data, and expected results column, which is exactly what a tester needs to execute. Third, it supports multiple strategic versions. So it's not a one-and-done generator. We can collaborate with it. We can ask for the initial happy paths and then later push it to more complex negative paths or critical edge cases. And finally, this all results in native Jira work item creation. So this means our test cases, but also test plans, test executions, are real Jira work items. They are not external objects, so they live right on your Jira board and use Jira fields. This makes your flow very, very simple. Yeah, but that's the theory. Now let's see it in action. So here is what I'm going to show you today. And we will take a requirement, then turn it into test cases, both manually and using AI. And then we will run a test execution to complete this cycle. Yeah, so this is my board. It contains all the requirements defined in the previous stages. Above that, I've got a testing swim lane, which contains all work items coming directly from Appsvio Test Management app. So we've got here test cases, test plans, and also test executions. So let's go to the requirement. I will open this requirement, and now as a tester, my first task is to read through the description, understand the process, and think through all possible scenarios and edge cases. This part alone takes time because I need to make sure I'm not missing anything. So I've got here a few test cases defined, and I will open one, and this is just a draft. Here are some test steps, but I have to add some more. So just to show the effort involved, I will manually add two of them. So I type the text, action and expected results column, and the fifth test step. Yeah, as you can see, even for just this one test case, this work is repetitive, time-consuming, and it's really easy to miss something critical. And even looking at the board, there are several other test cases defined in the swim lane, so each one would require a manual effort. And as you can see, it's a vital, but it's a major bottleneck. But today, we are going to change that. So instead of doing all this manually, let's go back to the requirement. And this time, I'm going to use my Rovo Agent, the test case architect. So if you will have Appsvio Test Management installed, you will have it on the list available. I have already added it to favorites, so it's easy for me to find. Test case architect, exactly, I choose it. Yeah, so the chat opens, and before I trigger anything, there is one important thing to highlight. So our agent relies on the requirement. So it's important that I have opened the proper work item. Since I am already on Epic, it's everything well aligned. So before in configuration, we call it testing setup, I have configured epics and stories to act like requirements. This is how ATM works, and this is our precondition to start talking with chat. So when we look back at the test case architect, we have defined here a few starters. I will choose the first one. Can you help me generate test cases? So now the test case agent is reviewing my question. He checks if I am on the requirement. He is fetching the issue details, and he will propose some test cases. Yeah, and here we go. The agent has proposed a few test cases. Each one comes with a full test steps in the standard action data expected results format. So everything is really easy to read. Let's review them quickly. So the first test case is quite big. It has several test steps. Okay. The second one, it has only 2 steps, but it's also fine. We need also that kind of steps. Okay, test case number 3, 4, the 5, and the 6th one. Okay, I think I like most of them, but the 6th one isn't not actually what I'm looking for. I want something a bit more interesting, but that's not a problem. We can prompt the agent and ask for some other test case. We will ask for test case that will cover a negative path or critical edge case. Yeah, so we prompt it and submit our question. Now we have to also wait, but after a few seconds, agent proposed a new test case. And after review, I think that this test case is much better. So we have the list of all test cases we wanted to generate. And now I will prompt the agent to generate test cases. I choose all of them in the format the agent requested. And now we will wait. The agent now will give us a quick summary and give us some description what he will do. So we wait. Yeah, and here we are. Every test steps is here given to us. We can review it, but since I confirmed every test case, we can just go to the confirm button and click it, and the agent will start his action. So we have to wait. In the meantime, the agent is generating the work items. He does all the work inside the app, and later he will link every test case back to the requirement. So we wait. And done. Our test cases are successfully executed. So we got a list of all the test cases created with a direct links to them. So I will open a new one in the tab, and let's review it. So I have to wait, the panel loads. And yeah, look at this. All steps are filled in. I don't need to type anything. So the agent has done all the work. He read this description and provided a fully structured test steps to us. We don't need to do anything. Of course, we can edit if we want. So looking at the board, we have all 6 test cases. So in just a few clicks, I got an entire set of test cases created and connected to the requirement. That alone saves me a huge amount of time. So I can move straight into testing instead just of writing. So now I will test these test cases. So I will create a test case execution. In ATM, we do that with global issue create model. So we have to create test execution. We choose the proper status we want to be in, and we provide a quick summary. Ticket journey, test execution. Okay, now we will move to the ATM test cases custom field. So we open work item picker. It's a very user-friendly model to choose our test cases. We have all this here test cases in project, but we want only to choose the newly generated test cases. So we choose them, and they are already inserted in ATM test cases custom field. So we can move with test execution. We do create. So we have to wait a bit. Now all test case execution is being generated. And in the testing column, we've got a new test execution ticket journey. So we will open this test execution. We've got a lot of custom fields here. The panel loads. But the most important thing here is the table. So it contains all test case execution we provided to test execution. So just to show you how it looks, I will choose one of them and I will run test for that. So we have all test steps placed here, and we will look at them. The first one is to look into the customer portal. Since I'm already logged in, I will do also the second step to open the details view of a request. So let's move to the request. Everything is visible, so we can move to our model and mark test steps as passed. Perfect. We move also to the third and maybe fourth one also. We will review the journey stages, and we will check the previous and upcoming stages. So let's go back to the request. And in the bottom right, we see the ticket journey component. We see the actual stage, which is highlighted, and the next stages also are visible. So everything looks great. I mark these tests as passed. So since everything works correctly, I can mark this test case execution as passed. Everything is green. Yeah. So just to show you the full QA flow, I will create a sample defect. This isn't based on a real issue. Everything has been done correctly, but it's just a demonstration how quickly you can log and link a bug. So we marked this test step as failed. And now we will create a defect. We provide a summary. The description is also filled with some data, and we can create a bug. It is visible in a defects tab. So everything is done here. The QA flow requirement test cases execution has been done. AI take care of the repetitive work, and I can stay focused on what really matters. So thank you for your attention, and now we'll hand it over to Ola.
Yes. So hello again. Thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Ivana, for completing the cycle and for your demos. So let's come back and maybe let's do a quick summary, because as we have just seen, Rovo managed to successfully assist and accelerate all three main stages. So we had the planning, development, and testing. So I think our goal is surely achieved. So definitely the thing Rovo is truly for the full development cycle, as we can see on this graphic. However, you maybe are wondering what makes Rovo so unique if we are comparing it to general purpose AI, right? We have ChatGPT, we have Claude, we have Gemini. You can really choose your best friend here. So what makes Rovo so special? So maybe let's discuss why Rovo is essential choice for your Atlassian-based work, especially. First of all, Rovo has these core advantages that general AI just cannot match, because we have the deep Atlassian integration. Keep in mind that Rovo is native, so it connects different Atlassian products. So we have Jira, Confluence, Bitbucket, especially for the Rovo Dev users. And all of this provides the context-aware insights across the entire toolchain. And it also can securely research your internal documentation. On the other hand, we also have the AI-powered automation across the entire SDLC. Because as we've just seen, Rovo automates more than just codes. It actually handles the repetitive administrative tasks that we wanted automation to handle. So for product owners, it can help with creation of the user stories, dividing them into manual tasks, just like we've seen, improving the descriptions, basically conveying the idea in the best way possible. For the Rovo Dev users and developers, it speeds up the PR reviews, builds pipeline fixes, and basically just standards the enforcement. For testers, we've just seen with a right product and the Rovo Agent, you can speed up the test case design. So Rovo truly impacts the whole delivery speed. Also, especially for the Rovo Dev, we have the terminal first and context-rich experience. So the tool is designed for developers who live in terminal or IDE, and it offers the natural language automation, memory of past interaction, and also the reusable instructions. So it's really here to give you this lending hand. And to wrap up the whole benefit section and kind of the summary, let's keep in mind, because Rovo is native, we are able to Rovo is able to offer the enterprise-grade security and customization. So we know that you can create your personal Rovo agents, and because you can customize its behavior and workflow, the tool like Test Case Architect and Appsvio Test Management can also operate on secure Forge platform, and that's how we are able to ensure that the data remains private and compliant with the enterprise standards. So let's quickly summarize the benefits also for the every team member, the 3 teams that we have mentioned at the beginning. So we are once again starting with the product owners. So you guys, Rovo gives you your strategic time back, because it helps you gather all of the information that is necessary for you to create a well-defined user story, and also that it helps you create the child items. So with all of this data to back up, you are transformed from a data collector to a real strategist that you were always aimed to be. On the other hand, we also have the developers who are actually having their time back, and they can focus on solving valuable problems. So we have just eliminated this friction, and we can keep our developers in their flow state where they should be when they are coding. And on the third note, our testers, our guardians of the quality. So as we have just seen that the example of the Rovo agent was able to drastically reduce the time of the test case design problem that we had before. And that's how we are able to give QA teams a massive velocity increase. And that's how we are actually able to also guarantee a better coverage. And we are freeing up QA engineers to focus on high value exploratory work, on the test executions, on the defects analysis. And together, I think we really want it to sound out very well that Rovo, the main takeaway. So Rovo is here to amplify the human experience. So it takes away the tedious work that our valuable teams can focus on strategic and creative problem solving, the thing that they were always aimed to do, and not lose time on the administrative repetitive tasks. And with that, kind of on an ending note, I think we can conclude our exploration of Rovo with this session. So thank you very much for your attention. Of course, visit us on the Atlassian Marketplace, or so you can book a session with us on the Calendly. And this is the perfect time for the Q&A. So if you have any questions, please keep them in the chat, and we are very ready to answer them. whether it's about Rovo, Rovo Dev, however you prefer, also Rovo Agents, maybe ATM or anything about the data security. We all have the the experts here, right, to answer them. Yes, and in the meantime, is there anything that you guys, for example, would like to ask? Add, I'm sorry, not ask. I hope our speakers don't have questions.
I'm checking when can I go off mute.
This is your time, Ivana. I think it's fine. Dominic, you can unmute yourself as well.
We have a question.
Okay, let's pop it up. I see. Almir. Hi, Almir. So when it comes to the code quality, how you compared Rovo Dev with, for example, Claude or Cursor?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I feel like it's definitely directed at me. Internally, very few people would opt for Claude or Cursor. I guess I can speak for some of the customers that I've spoken to that have attempted using Rovo Dev and compared it to Claude and Cursor. You actually could see some of their analysis and comments on the Rovo Dev community space, which I can actually paste in the comment. And actually, maybe a better one would be to find exact comment or rather discussion from a customer about this, but maybe you can also search it yourself. And they have just like unsolicitedly coming in to the community and sharing that they're a lot more happier with the quality of the response the Rovo Dev has been giving them in comparison to Claude or Cursor. Now, that's not to say that Claude or Cursor are not good. It's just to say that Rovo Dev just has a lot more context about your data that sits within the Atlassian ecosystem, and that is possibly and probably why Rovo Dev was giving it a better answer or a better result, a better outcome. Because again, those were Atlassian customers and their data would be sitting in one of the Atlassian managed systems. So to comment on this, I can't say 100% for certainty, and I don't want to be biased either. But from the customers that have tried both, we've been getting a lot of comments back. The Rovo Dev is better in how it generates the outcome. Another one is if you've seen the Sui bench, we're still number one on Sui bench full. Rovo Dev is trending really well since we launched it in beta. Now it's in general availability, therefore no more waiting. Anyone can really sign up. And if you're curious about trying out whether it's better than Cursor or Claude and you want to like test it out side by side, I would actually encourage you to try out Rovo Dev 30 days for free. You don't have to pay for anything. It just basically is given to you for 30 days to trial it out. And just make sure that you obviously unsubscribe before those 30 days expire so that you don't get charged. But I will share with you the Rovo Dev community in case you're interested in joining and then coming in and asking questions, but also searching for that one comment from our customer. If you want to, you can also post the discussion there directly. I actually personally manage and monitor for this community space. So we'll be very happy to help you out and find the right post for you. Hopefully that answers your question, Almir. Or is it Almir? It could be Almir.
It could be Almir as me. So Almir, we are very sorry if we are butchering your name. We are trying our best as always. Okay, we have an answer. Maybe I can show it. We have already joined and we are planning to start Rovo Dev with a new project on Monday. If we are stuck, we could reach out to Jovana for a bit of guidance.
Yes. Oh, that's lovely. Well, guess what? We're having Dev Days happening in Berlin on the first week. Oh, is it second week or first week of December? So similarly to what you attended in Berlin at We Are Developers, you can go and sign up for another one, for another Dev Days that is happening in Berlin. And I'll make sure to flag it to my colleagues that you'll be there. But absolutely reach out for any help. I can definitely put you in touch with the right people, or I'll be the right person to speak to. So yeah, please do reach out either via LinkedIn or joining the community space and asking for a question. And yeah, you're so welcome. And hopefully you can come to the Dev Days.
I hope that you guys will see each other. I think it'll be a very happy meet in that case. Keep asking questions. I think we still have the time. I saw that we have one more question regarding the test case architect. So Maria is asking, how does the architect ensure it generates the test cases for negative or edge case scenarios? Does it need specific prompting, or is that built into its intelligence? So I think that is aimed at Dominic.
Yeah, I can answer. So the test case architect already understands both positive and negative scenarios, so it can generate edge cases coverage on its own. But it won't force that cases every time, because testers often know the context better, yeah? So if you want deeper negative paths or more complex edge cases, you can just simply ask for them, like I showed in the demo. So the agent is capable to do it, but you can stay in control. It's a human in the loop moment, yeah. So you can ask for something, you get some things, but you also review it, and you can ask for something else, you can correct it. So this is how it looks like.
Okay, thank you, Dominic, for the answer. Yes, I see that you Giovanna are following up. That's very good.
I'm on a mission.
Yes. So we are constantly on a mission for more comments. But if there aren't any more questions, then I think we will be logging off. So this session is recorded, and we also will be posting in our YouTube channel, just like we said in the comments. For anyone who attended, thank you very much for attending, for asking the questions, for seeing the solution that we presented. I also wanted to thank my co-hosts here for doing a great job presenting their parts. So yes, I think without further ado, if there aren't any more questions, then I think we can end it. If not, always book a private session with us through Calendly, and then we can converse even more. Okay, so thank you very much, and I think we can just log off. So thanks, guys. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good afternoon.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys. You were fabulous. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.